Greetings, class. This is our last module update video. These are my final thoughts. Hey, y'all. I'm going to do a little share screen now and show you our last module. And yeah, I'll be quick doing this as well. So here we have your big toe, which stands for your theory of everything, your compendium. We publish, we do not perish, and we move on, which is my big motto. Let's move on. So right in here are some final thoughts that I have for you about the compendium. And it's a short little thing that I wrote. And I'm not even, I wrote it and I'm just going to stand by it and just kind of leave it be. You know, sometimes you just want to always rework things too much. So this is a fun little thing. I just want to see what everybody, what your favorite book cover is. So please just post a picture in there. And this is a breakdown of the compendium forms and finishes. So right here, when is it due? Expectations of when something is due. I am applying a universal pass for this class, so everyone will receive credit for this class. So technically you don't ever have to do it or turn it in and you'll still receive credit, okay? That being said, I know that a lot of you, I mean, all of you, all of you have done amazingly well and have worked very hard through this class, you know, pre-pandemic, and I've appreciated every single one of you. And I know that you've done a lot of work, and I would love to give you reviews and love to help you through this final step of this process. So if you're in a place that's a possibility for you, then let's look at some things here. So some ideas for outputs. I want to see what your ideas are here. So when it comes to outputs, I have a website here. This is Nick Breeze, and this is a project that he runs. It's this Net Art Rocks. Check it out. He kind of goes through net art and the kind of importance of it and the history of it. Nick also teaches in CP, but also teaches in ATS, I think, and would be an amazing person to take in your future. We also did have our visit at the Joan Flash Artist Book Library so far back, listening to those Sun Ra records. It was so fun, and I missed that. So a traditional book or an experimental book, these are possibilities too. I have so many resources that I can connect you with as far as book publishing and making things, that we can go through different types of stitches, or, you know, even spiral bounds, all these different ways we can make a book. And there's a lot of things that you can just kind of Google and research on your own as far as this goes as well. If you're having trouble though, reach out. I've made a series of books before and have taught bookmaking, so I have some skills there. An ebook, so this would be in a book that exists solely like online. I wrote there, the Art Bash opens this Friday. I think, I don't know who else submitted what, truthfully, but the Art Bash book library is going to be awesome, and it is awesome. I've seen it, so check it out. But you know, there's so many ways that your book can exist online. You know, your book can actually exist as a website as well, but it can exist as a PDF. It can exist as an EPUB, which is an e-publication file extension. There's ways of you also maybe thinking about this as a presentation that you'd want to give. You could do a live presentation or a symposium, a talk with other people about ideas, and record that in addition to doing it live. You could give a presentation with a slideshow. You could also do something like go on a walk and record the walk and talk about, you know, so the way that this thing exists is completely up to you, and I'm going to allow you to kind of navigate that space, because each one of you with your different ideas and approaches and ways of collecting, I didn't put on here, but you know, this could also exist as a sculpture. This could exist as a cabinet of curiosity. It could exist as a collection of things that you document, or, you know, maybe even just have a live feed of your rock collection. I don't know, that'd be fun to watch. So Yeah, it's totally up to you. However you creatively want to do this. I am available to have individual meetings, and I failed to put that on the module, but when you look at the module, you'll see individual meeting arrangements, and there's also the office hours coming up. So how can you submit this? Well, it depends on what the thing is, right? So if you want to physically mail me a book and I'll look through it and mail it back to you, think about including postage for me to mail it back to you. That would be great. Um, but you could also just submit this as a PDF. You could submit this, or you could actually publish it through. I have some links there to help you actually self-publish online, and you can do that for free through Amazon Kindle. And I hate saying these corporate things, but this is kind of the landscape that we're in. I don't know why I'm touching my shoulder like that. So this is an alarm for something. But yeah, so it may actually be a thing that we could purchase your book, your compendium. So these are some possibilities that are laid out in the module, and I'm going to jump to them. But if it's a website, for instance, you could just send me a URL. I think I'm over talking right now. So if you have questions, reach out. So I'm going to jump back right into the module. So that was forms and finishes on your compendium. This is an amazing film to watch. It's a good film just to kind of like chill out at night and watch. It is limited release, so jump in there and watch it. It's all about the Chicago Imagists, but it's also some really good like studio talk, some good artist like talk about like their process in making, and it was pretty inspirational to watch. So I would encourage that. This Karen Berard video is really maybe the last bit of philosophy and quantum physics that I'm going to throw your way. And this is really about quantum field theory and haptic knowledge, and this idea of inside of a scientific perspective what touch is, as well as the kind of ways that we can look at the nature of these interactions and how we can use kind of like language to identify these sorts of things that maybe deconstruct some of the kind of ideological frameworks that we operate within, which it's a really wonderful lecture. It's heavy though, so be ready to take notes and hit pause, but watch it one time through and then reinvestigate. Review this. This is the original compendium handout. I think in this version here, I took out the original timeline because that obviously is gone. Yeah, and here's the lecture that I gave on compendium as well. So go through that. This goes through all of those different things that we discussed, and again, goes into a lot of the kind of ways that I really was trying to dig in this semester on research methodologies. So please, as you continue in your practice, really think back to maybe some of these ways of deconstructing and reconstructing like ideas and concepts that are embedded all around us that we oftentimes don't bring into question. So more resources here. This is an InDesign workshop. It's 30 minutes long, and it's kind of like a real quick field guide to the InDesign software. You can obviously spend more time in that, but you can be up and running in 30 minutes. So that's through LinkedIn, and that's posted there. Right here, this is actually some videos on kind of HTML and CSS by Nick Breeze. And they're linked there. So if you wanted to go through and construct a website, that's available for you. This is kind of a guide to doing an Amazon Kindle digital self-publishing. So again, if you like really love your book that you've created, a photo book, whatever, you could, submit it into this space, and it actually could be, available for sale and things like that. But you have to like use bank information and different things like this. And I've looked through a lot of like online reviews of this, and there's no perfect system here, but this is really the most like economically like viable way for people to self-publish. And right down here, copyright and things like that. So some considerations as you kind of are maybe starting to put things into the public sphere, and especially if they're for sale, they have to really like abide by some of these things of copyright. So if you're using images of like images that are not your own, right? Then there's going to be some complications as far as we look at like creative free use laws and things like that. Last office hours, 6 to 8 p.m. I kind of just want you to show me art and for us to just talk about it as a class and just kind of spend some time together, just looking at things and talking about them. So anything that you want to show, it doesn't have to be like, you know what I'm interested in and what the kind of topic of our class is. So, but that doesn't matter either, honestly. It's my phone ringing, all sorts of distractions. So yeah, just bring some art and let's just like talk about form and concepts. So yeah, that's what I got. Those are my final thoughts. I have adored this class and being with you, and even through this time, I've appreciated our office hours, and I've appreciated the way in which you all have kept going and working through this time, and that's been very important to me. So as we move forward, I will miss you, but I still exist, and you can reach out to me and we can still have conversations and I can still look at work. So feel free to do that, please. And yeah, I would like to continue to attempt to support you as best I can, as you move forward. And, because I don't teach in anything beyond CP, then this might mean that oh yeah, Sarah's in the background. Oxbow. So please come take a class with Sarah and I at Oxbow. If it not this summer, then next summer, if we're still out there, hopefully. But yeah, take care, y'all, and much love. Okay, be well.